During the Battle of Scarif, a single corvette did the seemingly impossible. It rammed a Star Destroyer and brought the shield gate down. This was the crucial difference between the battle being a success or a failure that might have ended the entire rebellion. This transmission is going to explore the Hammerhead Corvette, the design, specs, origins, and evolution. The Sphyrna-class Hammerhead Corvette is also known as the C-80 Corvette. The name Hammerhead comes from the forward-jutting bow of the ship. Despite the scene that made the ship infamous, the ship was not actually designed to be a battering ram. It was meant to change the docking profile of the ship so that it could fit easily into crowded spaceports. The ship itself is based on tried-and-true designs from centuries before the era of the Galactic Empire. The ship is a joint venture with the Corellian Engineering Corps, doing the design, and the Rendili Star Drive Company manufacturing them. The ships were nearly 400 feet in length, though I did see some 1,000-foot claims reported in some areas, but that would be far too large for the class of ship that this is. It has a standard hyperdrive system, deflector shields, navigomputer, and a medium-range sensor array for the ship's size and class. The Corvettes were not built for battle, but the galaxy is a dangerous place, so each Hammerhead is outfitted with 2 heavy forward-mounted turbolaser cannons, a dorsal-mounted light turbolaser battery, and can be upgraded with up to 4 module-mounted twin light turbolaser batteries. There were stations enough for up to 46 crew members, but in dire circumstances, the ship could technically be run with a single pilot. There was room for between 125 and 160 passengers depending on configuration, and it could haul almost 23,000 metric tons. The ships were often stocked with 6 months of provisions for the crew and passengers aboard. As I said, the ships were not built for combat. They were cargo haulers with protective abilities, and above all else, they were reliable and modular. Modular means that the ships could easily, quickly, and cheaply be refitted for a variety of purposes. The first appearance of a Hammerhead Corvette we all got to see wasn't actually in Rogue One, though I'd argue easily that is the most famous scene. It was actually in Star Wars Rebels Season 2, Episode 12, A Princess on Lothal. That aired in January of 2016. Rogue One would not hit theaters until December that same year. In this episode, the Organas deliver 3 of these awesome ships to Phoenix Cell, which doesn't just give us our first look at the Hammerheads, but also a young Leia Organa's first on-screen act of outright rebellion. The Empire didn't see these ships as a threat. They weren't particularly strong, fast, or stealthy, but to a growing and struggling rebellion, they were a strong foundation to be built upon. Phoenix Cell's engineering stripped out the cargo holds, reinforced the extended prow, and added even more firepower. The humble C-80 Corvette was transformed into the backbone of a small rebellion's fleet, as they were cheap, modular, and after some alterations, very hard to destroy. If you're getting value or entertainment out of any of my transmissions, it would mean a lot if you would join the Remnant and subscribe. There were 2 very common variants that got their own designations, the Hammerhead Scout Corvette and the Hammerhead Torpedo Corvette. The Scout has lighter armor, but an extended sensor array and superior speed. As the name implies, these were built for reconnaissance. The Torpedo variation is equipped with forward-mounted ordnance racks and upgraded shields to get into the fight directly. The moment that makes the Hammerhead Corvette a hero ship comes along in Rogue One. During the Battle of Scarif, the Rebel fleet is blocked from entering the planet's atmosphere by a massive energy shield. They're pinched between the shield and a pair of Imperial Star Destroyers. The fleet was on the verge of being wiped out, and the whole mission to Scarif would have been a failure, possibly ending the entire rebellion. The scrappy rebels managed to disable one of the Star Destroyers, the Persecutor. In a moment of desperation, Admiral Raddus commands the Hammerhead Corvette, Lightmaker, to ram the disabled Imperial warship and literally push it. After ramming the ship, Lightmaker's crew activates the tractor clamps to be sure that the Star Destroyer cannot get away. All power is then diverted to the sublight engines, and Persecutor is pushed into the still functional Star Destroyer, the Intimidator. Not only did the collision destroy both Star Destroyers, their hulls crashed through the planetary shield gate, opening a path for the Scarif ground team, Rogue One, to transmit the plans to the Death Star. The sacrifice of one Hammerhead Corvette and its brave crew leads to Luke Skywalker's fateful shot that would save the rebellion and turn the tide of the battle against tyranny. I've seen some criticism of the scene online. Of course, it's the internet. People have to have problems with something so awesome. We can boil it down to a question. How did a transport a quarter the size of a Star Destroyer move such a massive thing? The answer is actually pretty simple: leverage and momentum. Lightmaker did not move Persecutor on sheer strength. The disabled Star Destroyer was caught in the gravitational pull of Scarif below. With its engines disabled, the ship wasn't resisting the pull and was slowly headed in that direction anyway. The Hammerhead simply redirects the momentums and adds to it a bit. It is possible the Persecutor would have gotten its engines back online and pulled out of the dive. It's also possible, and likely, that the Persecutor would not have taken down the other Star Destroyer with it. It's also important to note that the Hammerhead didn't latch onto the rear side of the ship, but went more toward the front. The further you can get down on a lever, the stronger the level will be. Just remember Archimedes' famous quote, "Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world." The maneuver would be studied by future naval tacticians. It's praised for its simple brilliance and was designated Operation Lightmaker. The Lightmaker maneuver would have made more sense, but it's cool that the move received the credit and attention that it deserves. Is this explanation some pseudoscience? Absolutely. Does it look awesome on screen and we should just obey the rule of cool in this circumstance? Absolutely again. Star Wars is fantasy, let's have some fun with it. Now I'm going to dive into Legends to clear up some confusion. The forever popular game, Knights of the Old Republic, has a Hammerhead-class cruiser. This is not the same ship. It's not even a predecessor to the C-80 Corvette. This may be where the size discrepancy we talked about earlier comes from. The cruiser is thousands of years older than the Corvette and does measure just over 1,000 feet in length. The Hammerhead cruiser served the Old Republic Navy during the Mandalorian Wars as well as the Jedi Civil War. The distinct curved neck and domed prow became signatures and also provided a striking silhouette that is very memorable and easily recognizable. I'd argue the Hammerhead Corvette is paying homage to this ship that came so far before it, if you feel compelled to make any connection to them at all. I'm just going to interrupt for 1 second. Today's video is sponsored by me. Imperial Remnant now has a merch store, and it's not just designs specific to the channel. I'm working with a couple talented artists to bring you unique Star Wars themed designs. Check out the link in the description. Alright, back to the lore. The C-80 Hammerhead Corvette is yet another representation of the rebellion as a whole. They did not have the resources of the Empire, not by half. They couldn't outbuild the Imperial fleet, so they had to outthink it. The idea of taking a civilian ship and making it work for them also speaks to the by any means necessary philosophy of the rebellion, especially in its early days. Despite us not seeing this particular model for the remainder of the Galactic Civil War on screen, some were out there. A handful even survived to the era of the New Republic. By this time, they were primarily used in training exercises or for patrolling individual planets and smaller systems. Some veterans of the rebellion who had the status and means would take a Corvette for themselves into civilian life when they retired from active duty. Check out this transmission next for a breakdown of the next ship in the Corellian Corvette line, the CR-90.